Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes and subscribe. Listen, we're at Stamford Bridge and I'm with my boy Lewis in the building.
Come on,
bang,
my guy.
come on, my guy.
Time.
Listen, I had to talk to you because I said, listen, I know one person that hates Arsenal, probably even more than me. And that's tough because we both grew up in London. We know when we get to school, primary, secondary, bare Arsenal fans everywhere. And even when you walk around the streets, I'm sure you get stopped and people will be like, who do you support? It's Arsenal. It's always Arsenal fans everywhere lurking. Even in our own end, sometimes there's Arsenal fans where they shouldn't be.
I've been to enough Arsenal Chelsea games in the pub in like Shepherd's Bush and that, and I'm the only guy in a blue shirt.
It's
like,
mad.
this ain't even
bro,
friends.
It's peak. They're everywhere, bro. They're multiplying, and especially now.
Worse than COVID.
Now they're doing well. They're getting even more loud and even more boisterous, and they're appearing through the cracks even more. How has it been? Because we were speaking it on the way up here. Our record against them is like what? 1 win out of last 7, I believe. We are really on the floor. You were saying 3 defeats in a row. At Stamford Bridge, the fortress is basically on the floor.
Yeah.
What's your mood going in right now into this game?
Very cautious optimism, and it's only because we've started to fix up in the last few games. I keep saying it. I think this is the sort of game where I think there's only going to be 1 or 2 goals in it.
I hear that.
I don't expect either team to be getting battered, but in the words of Jose Mourinho, we cannot lose.
We cannot lose.
They cannot go 4 games in a row with 4 wins at our ground. I remember back in the day, back in the good old days when we were young.
Yep.
They'd have 1 win here in the last decade.
Yep.
They'd barely get shots on target at our ground, let alone goals. I remember one time they went through a 6 or 7 game run where they never scored against us in the league. Now, we can't score.
Bro, we used to dominate. Do you know what it was as well? It's the physicality. It was the physicality of like your Drogba's, your Ivanovic, Gary Cahill even, Terry. Like we were men, grown-ass men. And they were like that team that played nice football, bopped it about. They would keep possession, but we would hit them, even on the counter. Or we would just bully them, set pieces. We'd find a way. I remember the beautiful days at the Emirates, the Drogba free kick, side foot, top corner. Ashley Cole, little whip in. Hit both the bars, gone in. Like there were so many nice moments. Now, like you say, we're the ones getting bullied. I remember the game last year here, 1-0 defeat. One of the most infuriating performances I think I've ever come across.
We should have won that. That was the worst part. If it weren't for that gooner in disguise who ignored the Aubameyang twice in the first 15, that should have been ours.
That was the BT ad game. Yes, nothing personal. Oh my days. It is personal. And I need the Chelsea players to understand that. Because it's personal for us. It has to be personal for the players, because like you said, we can't afford to get embarrassed. We were saying on the way before we started recording, it's one of those must not lose, like you said. I want to win, but it is a must not lose. Would you take a draw? Like before the game even kicks off, mentally right now, would you take a point?
No, only because if we're talking about going back to the old Chelsea, like we can't accept draws. But with the same breath, if we go through the whole game, go through the full 90 and we're coming out with a point, I just hope at least there's some positives to take out of it. Don't do what the Gooners did in 2020 with the whole Martinelli thing and the 22 tweets in a row. You don't need to celebrate it like that. But if we get a draw, we get a convincing performance against a team that should be contending for the title. Cool. We'll look at the positives. We keep it stepping, go to the next one. Just do not lose under any circumstances.
100%. Where does that disdain for Arsenal come from? Because I remember you saying before, correct me if I'm wrong, you hate Arsenal more than Tottenham.
Facts.
Yeah, where did that come from?
Brother, like Tottenham, I understand the history behind it, but as much as I've grown up, in my lifetime, Arsenal have been the serious London rival. Even when they were just competing for top 4 regularly and they were around in title races, but they'd always fall off. At least they were a little bit serious back then. Also take into account, we are infested with gooners. West London, North London, everywhere they're about. Like we said, they're worse than COVID. We have to deal with that. They have been unbearable, they have been intolerable, even when they were crap, let alone now when they're good. If Arsenal win the league, I'm off to Amsterdam for a month. I'm not here for the trophy parade, I'm not here for the celebrations, because London sadly will be red. Not even in terms of where we think the tides are turning, just in the colour that you're going to see when you walk out of your house. It's just going to be red shirts everywhere. I'm not here for it. This season, I'm kind of still not worried. They don't look like the same Arsenal from last season. I expect them to contend but not win the league. That's the only thing that we've kind of got in our favour. When we turned the tide on Arsenal, it weren't because we were beating them regularly. It's because we won trophies. We won everything multiple times. They haven't done that. They've still got one FA Cup to their name. As long as that continues, the tables haven't really turned that tough. We just need to hope it stays that way, and we need to pattern up.
That's the point I love to hear, because as much as we can give credit to Arsenal for their upturn in performances, they're much better than us currently in terms of the league performance and just the way that they're, you know, bopping it about at times. We have not been awful this season. We should probably have more points than we do, but one thing that they haven't done is actually get over the line, and that's why coming into this game, like you said, we've been better recently. Last couple of fixtures, Burnley, Fulham, I know it's not top teams, but we've still, before that, played good games against Liverpool and whatnot. I feel like the only thing that is slightly needs to be corrected with this team is the physicality side, because we know that Cauldron sometimes played left back because of height reasons. Arsenal used to be able to be bullied. When they signed Jorginho and they signed Kai Havertz, I thought, this is very Wenger. It's like tippy-tappy players. They're nice players, don't get me wrong, we've had them, or one of them. We'll get to the other one in a minute. But they're Wenger players in the sense that they're not the strongest. They can be bullied, they can be, you know, dealt with. They can be they could be bypass paces, etc. But the Salibas, bro, the Salibas, the Declan Rices, unfortunately, these are the players that party. These are the guys who will make a difference in terms of the physicality. Do you think our young team have the capacity, do have the facilities to handle the physicality of the game and go toe to toe with them in that aspect?
Potentially, but it more depends on the battles. Like, I think there's players that are capable of it. We can say Cole, we could say Caicedo, Disassi. Sterling, I think, is underrated in the sense of his strength as well. Mudryk, potentially. Jackson, I think, will give it, but like I think will struggle in the strength battle regardless. Like, it's Saliba and Gabriel, it is what it is. But I don't think the team's at the Wenger level where they would just bend over and they just get dominated, pause for 90 minutes. I think it's just a case of we'll give it a fight, probably just slightly lose out on the physical battle. But it's going to really depend on how we handle the game. Poch has genuinely been more pragmatic than I've seen from him this season, but I think games like this are where you can be pragmatic, and it's actually better for us to do that. We probably will concede a bit of possession, but we'll be better off playing deeper, I think, especially with having Thiago Silva and Disassi at the back too as well. It just depends on how we handle our opportunities with the ball. Do we bury our chances? That question's still yet to be answered. I know we're scoring more now in the last few games. That can be addressed, but have to do in a big game. That's why this game's so important.
That's the key. Now, we even have the small matter, and there's actually, to be fair, there's quite a few little tiffs and taps, I say, in the two teams. There's Mudryk. There's Jorginho, who probably won't play. So there's a few players, but there's also Kai Havertz as well. Now, there's a little debate going on socials about Kai Havertz in terms of, do we boo him when he comes back here, create that kind of atmosphere where it's almost not toxic, but it's pressurized. It's putting pressure on his shoulders to perform, potentially making him crumble. And we know that he's one of those players, to be fair, that, you know, he's not necessarily going to turn up as well. He's a player that we're very happy to take the 65 million for. There is a debate going on. You said online, you were like, yo, we're going to boo the crap out of him, or at least you are anyway.
No,
what's your you wanted him at the club massively as well. What's your feelings towards him and the differences between the other former players like the Jorginhos or the Petr Cechs or whatever that have been brought up?
I don't get how it even ended up being a discussion. It should be one of the most blatant points out there. Like, I've seen the likes of David Luiz get booed coming to Stamford Bridge without a single question mark. Seen the likes of Nemanja Matic get booed. I've even seen Frank Lampard get booed by Chelsea fans coming back with Manchester City. We're meant to have this debate about Kai Havertz of all football players. For what? Like, no, we know the answer. It's because of the UCL final goal. But why are we doing this? Like, we won the UCL based off the defense, the least goals conceded in 25 years. Not because of a guy who scored one goal in the entire knockout run. We don't need to do this. This is a guy who, let's use context, because I know people are going to say, oh, what about Cech? What about Willian? Willian never played against us at the Bridge. Probably wouldn't have been booed anyway because he left on a free transfer. Petr Cech literally left with Roman's blessing. He was a bench player for us, and we had Thibaut Courtois already. It was fine. Like, we understood why he wanted to stay. His reasons were clear. He wanted to keep his family in London. That's fine. Kai Havertz had 2 managers build the team around him. Had the most minutes played, the most offsides, the most big chances missed, blamed everybody around him, shushed the Chelsea fans after no goals and assists in 7 games, only to get 0 goals and assists in his next 5. All for when he's faced with the consequence of his actions and no European football, he jumps ships to our rivals. Why are we debating this?
Mad.
Why are we? Should we boo Kai? Why aren't we? Why aren't we? If anyone doesn't, you're a cuck. Chelsea 22 vibes if I see Stamford Bridge celebrating or cheering him coming onto the pitch or anything.
They shouldn't be doing that. That is not even a debate. Like, you don't.
But you deep it.
He's playing for Arsenal at the end of the day. This is a
It's
rivalry.
cheering or booing. It's not going to be silent. Everyone says we don't have to do either. We're going to do one or the other.
It could just be I don't know. It could just be a jeer, like a kind of murmurs and whatnot. Thing is with Kai Havertz, I wanted him to leave. For 65 million, I said that's great. That's money well spent. When I think of booing a player, it's like a Lukaku, who have done the club like wrong, haven't put. Because I wouldn't say Kai Havertz didn't try. I'd just say he just wasn't good enough. He was in the end more limited maybe than we thought. He didn't have any outstanding attribute. Obviously in Germany and open space he was doing well, but also I question his mentality when he was shushing the fans, and he thought that he had proved his point.
That's where you're wrong. That's why I disagree, because I get the idea of Kai Havertz.
Okay.
And we have seen it in games too, like one-off matches where we've come out and think, rah, that was a sensational game from Havertz. I'll look at the Dortmund home game. I'll look at the Carabao Cup final, for example. I'll look at the Champions League final for another example. There has been games where I've come out and I've thought this guy's been absolutely sensational. So to me, what the problem is, it's up here.
Yeah.
You can turn up when you want to be the hero. You can turn up when the occasion's big and you got to score a winning goal and everything like that. And the headlines will all say, Kai Havertz won Chelsea this. But when it's a league match, no. Everyone would run the debate about his position. Where does he naturally play? Why is it when you play him up front, he can get in all the right positions for a striker? We will make more chances with him up front than Aubameyang up front, than Lukaku up front. So he clearly can play the role, but he can't apply himself. He can't finish. He can't stay onside. He can't get more physical. He can't get more creative. He doesn't improve in terms of his dribbling. Like, I get Lukaku and how he snaked the club in terms of his words, but you can also snake the club by going against the faith that they give you and consistent lack of application on a football pitch. And that's exactly what he's done. He failed himself. He failed Chelsea, and to me is one of the biggest reasons why we ended in 12th. He had the most minutes in the squad. Graham Potter put his faith in Havertz. Tuchel put his faith in Havertz. Let the pair of them down. It's him. He's as big of a rat as Lukaku, in my opinion.
Damn, striking words. I mean, he might play. I think it'll be to our advantage if he does. I'd rather see him play in that midfield three than see Partey, Rice and Odegaard as a midfield three. I think that's a lot stronger. That's a more physically and technically, difficult midfield to come up against. But if Havertz does play and he gets booed, at the end of the day, yes, he may have contributed, and he did contribute to the Champions League. But like you said, it's a team effort, and you don't do it without the defence. You don't do it without Rudiger's block for Foden's shot. You don't do it without Mendy setting records for clean sheets. You don't do it without even Mount getting the assist. Is he going to get booed when we play Man United?
Bro, we already know Mount's one, and that's another point. If we're not going to boo Havertz, then why are we booing Mount? Why are we chanting about Mount every week?
I've heard about this.
When we play Man United, we were doing it for Wimbledon at home in the cup.
It's mad.
So if we can do that for Mount, and that's the same energy for him, why not the same energy for Kai? Why is it any different?
Damn. Let me know in the comments down below. Does he deserve to be booed? Will you be booing if you're going to the game for Kai Havertz? It's an interesting one, I can't lie. There's a lot of little subplots in this game though. The Mudryk, Kai Havertz, and of course, if Jorginho is to play, probably won't. But yeah, there's some subplots, I'm not going to lie. So, this is a massive game, man. Your confidence levels, where are they like in terms of, do you think we can get a win, or is it just kind of like a hit and hope kind of situation?
I think we can leave the game without a loss.
Okay.
Whether we can win is all dependent on ourselves, but both teams are strong defensively. We've only conceded 1 goal more than Arsenal have. So that's why I keep saying I see 1 or 2 goals in this game. It's going to come down to individual moments. Whether we strike in those remains to be seen, but cautious optimism. Like, if I'm going to say 100 to 1 to 100, say about 50, 60.
Okay.
Like, we can come out of this game and take something. We can come out of this game for 1-0 win or something like that.
Yeah.
Could also swing the other way.
Yeah.
So we have to see what Chelsea turns up. But we can go into this game a bit optimistic.
100%. Listen, people, this is a massive moment for the mentality of the shift of this football club, because, like you've said, we've been getting dealt with far too many times by this team, year in, year out, home, away, and it's not a good representation of what we're meant to be, which is we are meant to be the pride of London, the Kings of London. We're the team that have won the Champions League. We're the team that are meant to be handling Arsenal as we have done over the years with Didier Drogba and the others. It's time to get back into that mode. Even if it's not a win, like you said, it's about putting in a proper performance and actually coming away with this result and saying, yeah, we're on your level. Do you know what I'm saying? So, guys, let me know in the comments down below, big up your damn selves, what you think the score's going to be, what your prediction is, what your confidence is, your mood coming in. And make sure you subscribe to brother Carefree Lewis. Do you know what I'm saying? FIFA started for him. Well, we're not allowed to say the F word now. It's EA.
Oh, yeah,
EA FC 24. That started on this channel. I'm doing it too. So big up your damn selves.
I hope
Until
you're
next
doing
time.
better than I'm doing.
What difficulty are you playing on?
Legendary.
Yeah, I need to drop to that. I tried ultimate
Are
level.
you doing ultimate?
I tried.
God help
Yeah,
me.
no. Let me not tell you how that went. That went badly. Yeah, we're dropping to
I
legendary.
feel even worse I'm doing this bad on legendary. Yeesh.
We're dropping to legendary immediately. Don't worry about that. Until next time, big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.
We'll be right back.